Let's now get you the latest from Ukraine. An advisor to the Interior Ministry of Ukraine has said that the Malaysian Airlines MH17 aircraft was shot down by terrorists. This is what an advisor to the Interior Ministry in the government of Ukraine has just made a statement. 295 people are feared killed, and these are the latest images that we get to you from Ukraine of the wreckage of the Boeing 777 aircraft that was reportedly shot down. Who shot it down remains the biggest question. Russia has denied it. Ukrainian government has denied it. The rebels have denied it. As of now, the latest information is that the US President Barack Obama, he's spoken to the Russian President Vladimir Putin on this subject. That's what sources are telling headlines today. And journalist Fred Weers now joins us on the phone line for the latest. Fred, the Russians are denying it, the Ukrainians are denying it, the terrorists are denying it. This has become a big whodunit. Who has access to this kind of military hardware, Fred?
Well, until today, we would have thought that only state actors would have this. This is a big mobile anti-aircraft system. This Book M1, it's got a huge tractor-like carrier with associated radars. It's a big, sophisticated weapon that only armed forces normally have, and it has to have rather well-trained operators, because it's not like something you just fire and forget.
Yeah, it's not a man-portable surface-to-air missile. This is a tracked surface-to-air, medium-range surface-to-air missile that's brought down an aircraft flying at an altitude of 33,000 feet. And these are images that we bring to you from the Ukrainian border town where this aircraft was shot down. Fred, any information? Did this aircraft deviate from its flight path?
No, nobody is suggesting such a thing. It obviously was shot at by somebody with one of these very sophisticated radar-guided missile systems, and it could have been a mistake. In fact, it almost certainly was a mistake by somebody. They might have been shooting at something else, and then which the missile missed, and the missile does have its own onboard radar, which might have locked on to another target, and that would have been the airliner.
That's a very interesting. That's a very interesting theory that you're indicating. Stay with me for a moment, Fred. Let me also quickly bring in journalist Lalit K. Jha, who joins us for more on this story. The US President Barack Obama has been briefed about this, Lalit.
Yeah, you're right. The U.S. President Barack Obama has been briefed about the plane crash in Ukraine. That's all details the White House is sharing with us right now.
And what we're also being told is that he's spoken to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Do we know what this conversation was all about?
Yeah, according to the White House, this phone call between U.S. President Barack Obama and his Russian counterpart Putin was at the request of Moscow, and Moscow wanted to discuss with him the sanctions, U.S. which has imposed fresh sanctions on Russia yesterday. So this phone call was basically on the sanctions, and towards the end of the phone call, Putin noted to Obama that there are reports of this plane crash along the Russia-Ukraine border.
295 people dead in a plane crash, and this plane was shot down. It's a Boeing 777 on its way from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, was flying over Ukraine when it was brought down. Fred Weir, senior journalist with me on this story. Fred, two other aircraft, the Ukrainian president has made a statement and he said two other aircraft were brought down. This is the third that was brought down. He's saying that none of the Ukrainian forces were operating in this area at that point of time. What kind of a mistake could this have been? Who could have made this mistake?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's correct to connect the other incidents that President Poroshenko referred to with this one. This is a very different thing. The other ones clearly were combat related. There was a transport aircraft, an AN-26 transport, which was shot down on Tuesday at the Ukrainians say an altitude of about 6,000 meters, which is considerably less. And the Ukrainians first claimed that it must have been a Russian missile that did it. And then in the last couple of days, 2 fighter jets, but these are Su-25 close support ground attack aircraft, have been shot down. And in one case, the Ukrainians do insist it was close to the Russian border and that Russian fighter planes shot it down. Now, whatever, those are all murky, contested things, but this is
Yes.
the shooting down of an airliner at that 5 miles height is a totally different situation.
Oh, absolutely. It couldn't have been done by a man-portable SAM. A surface-to-air missile couldn't have, a portable surface-to-air missile can't reach 5 miles, 2 miles at the most. But this system, the Book M1 system, medium-range surface-to-air missiles, now when this is fired, this requires more than one person to operate the system, to guide the missile, to direct the missile. Now, this would require several people being involved in this operation, Fred.
Yes, there's a crew. I don't know how many men, but 5 is a good guess. That operates this system. It's not a missile. It's a system. It's a mobile air defense system, and we know that it was a Soviet weapon system, and a lot of them were left in Ukraine at the collapse of the Soviet Union. So the Ukrainian army definitely has them, and I think the claim that Kiev is making is that Russia has supplied this very sophisticated air defense system to the rebels. That would be a first, a whole new level. If it's true. The rebels deny it. They've issued a statement in the last hour or so saying they have nothing to do with this and they don't have such weapons. I think we can discount what Kiev and the rebels are saying at this point. They're reacting just as we are, without enough information to know what happened, but they're getting the finger pointing in early. Both of them. What needs to be established is what has happened, how these missile systems have dispersed around Ukraine. The Ukrainian army has it, but we also know that there are many militias now that are pro-Kiev. They're supported by the Ukrainian government, who have also been given a lot of armaments to go and fight the rebels in the east. We know
Shed
that
a
the
little
rebels
more
in the
light
east
on this, Fred. Which are these terrorist organizations that the advisor to Ukraine's interior minister is referring to when he says terrorists have brought down this aircraft? What we're also being told by the Ukrainian Interior Ministry is that their investigators are not being permitted to reach the crash site by the separatists, by these terrorists. Shed more light on who these people could be.
Listen, the use of the word terrorist in this case is a little bit inflammatory, just as the other side calls the Kiev forces fascists. I think you can dial that back a bit. They are separatists. They are pro-Russian rebels, anti-Kiev forces. Yes, and but they're not terrorists in any of the classic senses that we use the word. Nor are the Kiev forces fascists. So this is just the rhetoric they use between themselves, and I don't think we should buy into it.
Okay.
But yes, there are increasingly sophisticated. They are fighting. The fighting around Luhansk and Donetsk has really ratcheted up in recent days. And one way or another, these rebel forces are acquiring more and more sophisticated modern weaponry, tanks. They certainly had low-range anti-aircraft missiles, these manpads, for quite some time. It's not inconceivable that they have acquired a book system. And journalists from the Associated Press claim to have seen such a system in rebel hands in recent days. So all this remains to be established, and I wouldn't jump to any conclusions at this point.
Okay, and at this point of time, what we're also being told is that the Malaysian Prime Minister has expressed shock. He says he's seen reports of the plane being shot down. Malaysia is also sending a team of investigators to the crash site, as is Boeing. Boeing has also tweeted about this aircraft being shot down. This aircraft was on its way from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. Fred Weers and Lalit K. Jha in Washington, D.C. Many thanks for joining me.